All right, guys, take it away.
Make sure we're good on the live. Roberto, real quick. There we are. I see it.
It says we're live.
It says we're live. Who knows? All right, guys. Thank you so much, Real Closers. We're bringing to you a super. We're trying to get Mike before he gets way too big with it, with his almost 2,000 loan officers. Get him on here with you guys in order to talk a little bit about what's going on in the actual mortgage industry, because that's really what's affecting the buyers, the sellers, and lenders and real estate agents psychology right now, and how that plays a huge role on the actual market and prices and all that good stuff. So I just wanted to see if, Mike, you can tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your company vision, NEXA, and then we can maybe get some good insight from you on what you're seeing, because you have a ton of loan officers and you talk to a ton of people every single day, and I wanna get a little bit of an insight on the actual mortgage industry from you. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of NEXA Mortgage. We are the largest mortgage broker in the country. Did it in a short 5 years. Actually, next week is our 5th year anniversary, and we are 26 loan officers away from that coveted 2,000 mark. And to put that in perspective, there's only a handful of companies out there that have 2,000 loan officers at them. And then we are by far the largest mortgage broker. So I'm excited to be here and appreciate you guys for inviting me on to talk to your crowd about the state of the market and what's going on out there.
Yeah, real quick, Mike, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our group members, Real Closers, and what we've done, so you kind of understand who they are or who we are, and our experience and all that good stuff. So we're one of the largest Facebook real estate groups. We're one of the first couple that started it, and the groups has evolved. Where our agents have learned a ton in our group, from marketing to branding to connecting with other agents and loan officers across the country. And that's kind of who the community is, and what we're trying to do, and what our mission is to accomplish. So one of the big things that I know we were talking a little bit before the live was, what do you see is actually happening in the mortgage industry right now, as far as, and the big thing is obviously rates and programs, and how the change is happening, and where do you see that going? Where do you see rates going? What type of loan programs are coming or changing or whatnot? Because the only thing I can really compare it to is really like 2008, where loan programs started to disappear and rates started to change. So if you can give us more of the actual thought behind the country's largest mortgage company, and where you think everything's going, and maybe you have some insight for us that you want to share, and some good stuff, so our agents have a good idea where it's going.
Well, fortunately for me, I do have access to some of the smartest minds in the industry, because I am not one of them. So I rely on those people to give me that good advice, right? But look, the industry is in a rough spot right now. What we have going for us is the fact that obviously the inventories are still low, and that's holding real estate at its value. But we're not seeing the massive amount of multiple offers that we once did a few short months ago, quite frankly. And that's because interest rates have risen so rapidly, so fast, and it's pinching a lot of people out of the market. It really is, and it's painful, and it's not going to get easier in the next week or so. We're expecting and really the number for your realtors and your closers to watch out for, the easy number to really put in perspective, is going to be the inflationary numbers. Now, I don't want to go into a full education class on why inflation is the number. Just know that inflation is the nemesis to the mortgage-backed securities market, right? And it completely deteriorates the value of a mortgage-backed security. Thus, when inflation is high, you see mortgage rates go high. And it's about this time last year that we saw, it was a little bit longer, it was more like November, when we really saw inflation start to become a little bit of a concern, and everybody wondered why the Fed didn't see this coming sooner. And then it got progressively worse and worse and worse. And now we're at where we are today, where I'm not even sure the government can control inflation right now. Because of the shortages that are out there and this price spikes that there's nothing that they can do about. They're artificially obviously trying to fight it by raising the Fed rate. And that is what the Fed has as their main punching power to fight against inflation. But it's going to be a little tough in the coming weeks nonetheless. We're expecting, so you got to look over year inflationary numbers is what you're really looking at. And if you're looking at the inflationary numbers 1 year ago, it was very, very low inflation. And that's the number that we're going to put out inflation here in the coming week, that you're going to compare the year number. And when you replace a really low number with a really high number, you're deteriorating the value of the mortgage-backed securities, and you're going to see another spike in rates. Right now, we're testing the lows that we saw a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, we have a strong chance of breaking through those lows in the mortgage-backed securities and it getting a little bit worse, or even a lot worse for the short run. But look, there is going to be hope out there. Right? What's going to happen is you're going to see a little bit of control. We'll get control of inflation a little bit, and then our year-over-year numbers will start to decline. This year, when this year's inflationary numbers are less than last year's replacing numbers that are going out the door, then you're going to see rates start to come back down and start to see a little bit more players come into the market. And hopefully this time we can talk to the buyers and say, don't miss this one. You kept wondering why you're going to miss, right, or wins now. Buyers always seem to think that, doom and gloom, but then they never get in and they're forever stuck in renting. But there is going to be something later on. And what we're telling people is to not sit there and focus so much on the rate right now. If you can afford to buy a homes, you still have an inventory problem. So buy the home, we will get you into a low rate. Look, you can do a 2-1 buy down right now. You can get the sellers to potentially pay for your buyer's cost to buy that rate down, get a rate into the 4s still, make that affordable for the next couple of years. And then if they refinance it, the awesome thing is your buyer actually gets a reduction directly to their purchase price at that stage anyway, because they get any credits that were not used back in that 2-1 buy now. They'll get it back in the form of lowering their loan amount anyway when they do a refinance. So it's a good opportunity for buyers today who are savvy enough to utilize the tools that are available out there to mortgage brokers in the market.
Mike, real quick, you brought up a good point that I've been seeing a lot of, obviously, lately now, where the sellers were more likely to work with a buyer and help them with, extra credit or closing costs or the buy down that you're talking about.
Yeah,
all of that good stuff. I know that sometimes there's like a limit to how much they can do, but are you seeing lenders being a little more open to that when it's coming to buying down the rate and doing things like that to make it actually affordable for the actual buyers? Do you see things like that happen, or even for that, maybe even a refi, right?
There's a tremendous of that going on. Like you mentioned earlier, 2008, we saw all the products go away, but actually we're starting to see more products. Is really what we're starting to see. We're starting to see some of these unique products, right? We're seeing the 2-1 buy downs. We're seeing the 40-year fix come out. I even saw a 3-2-1 buy down over the weekend, right? That's coming out into the markets again, where you can buy the rate down even lower on the 3-year term. And so whoever's buying those homes can get those rates cheaper starting out with a much, much lower introductory rate. As they get to it, we're also seeing some more aggressive pricing going on the adjustable rate mortgages, things of that nature. And I'm going to tell people, don't be afraid of these, because look, when you're buying at the peak of the mortgage market, and that's what you're doing right now, that's okay. Things can get better and you can take advantage of that. It's not like a year ago when we were selling rates at 2% and people are like, well, what if they go lower? I'm like, you're really going to take that chance? Because it's so low, you're literally buying at the low of the market and expecting it to go up. Should have taken advantage of it. And now there's less risk in it because you're buying at the peak of that. And it's okay. You're comfortable. Just be comfortable knowing that in 6 months from right now, maybe up to 12, you will refinance that. You're marrying the house. You're not the rate. You're just going to date the rate for a little bit. And then you're gonna move on from that rate. And that's okay, or that program. That's okay. To do that, to get into the house, because you have an inventory shortage, and no matter what happens, supply and demand always supersedes everything, and you have an inventory shortage no matter what you do. So people still have to have a place to live no matter what. You're still going to have a problem in thinking that the market's going to crash and all the homes are going to come down in value. That's not going to happen because of the inventory shortage.
And I think that leads in right to one of the big things is the psychology, right? And you're talking a little bit about that when it comes to, and there's different as real estate agents or loan officers, we have to deal with not only the husband and the wife, or the neighbor that's giving advice, or the father-in-law, whatever that may be, but there's also psychology that different real estate agents have right now, and then the actual loan officers. And you said something important. You said date the rate, and marry the house. And I think that's super important for everybody to start instilling that into themselves, because there's a lot of I've seen a lot of real estate agents that are panicking right now, and our community, in our real closers community, I see a ton of agents that are starting to panic, or what are we going to do? What's the right direction? How do we survive this recession? How we do all these different things? And you pretty much summed it up and said, you just keep going.
By the way, I think they should panic. Right? People who say, oh my gosh, this market's up. You're damn right, it's terrible. You should panic. Loan officers should panic. In fact, loan officers should panic more, right? But it doesn't mean you should freak out either, right? Stay calm, cool, and collected. And when I say panic, you got to know that now's the time to take action. You have to do it now. You have to be a little bit more aggressive than you ever were before. The aggressive folks in this industry are the ones who are going to excel no matter what. You don't get to the level that the successful people in the industry are without being a little bit over aggressive sometimes. And never before. That'll shine true now more than ever. And it's the people who understand that little bit of panic. Yes, it's time to panic a little bit, but stay controlled with it, and stay controlled in your actions, and do the things that you need to do. Because look, a lot of people aren't going to make it through this. I'll tell you right now that in the mortgage market specifically, right, about 40% of the loan officers that are in the market are not going to make it through. Now, the realtors out there don't necessarily have the same problem as loan officers, because it's not like you're losing listings or losing buyers. You still have people who want to buy in an inventory shortage, right? You still have the same amount of transactions that should get done, or at least relatively close, right, to what you might experience. Where mortgage loan officers, we've completely lost all the refinances. They're gone. They're gone, and they're probably gone for a good period of time. Loan officers are going to panic more than anybody. But look, it's the aggressive ones. It's the ones that get out there and that do the things that they need to do now in order to survive through that first quarter, because there's going to be probably about 30% of the loan officers will get out of the market. And those of us who make it through, those loan officers who survive through, or those good loan officers, those are going to be the ones who do very well going into the future.
I think what you're saying makes perfect sense. And more than anything, one of the things I've been seeing more is the relationship between the loan officer and the real estate agent needs to get even tighter. It needs to happen at a rate that didn't really happen before. In the past, as real estate professionals or loan officers, we were connected, but not as connected as maybe we should. We would say, okay, next, okay, you moved on from either a loan officer or real estate professional relationship. But I really think that what you're saying makes perfect sense, and that the relationship is going to be more important, because that support that you give each other is going to be 100% important. And you said something that the aggressiveness, I call it going 100 times harder during the bad times than in the good times. And I've always thrived even more in bad markets, and people see me all the time and I have a smile on my face and I'm excited lately. And they ask me, what's going on with you? I'm like, I see it, I feel it, I'm excited, I'm moving, I'm shaking, I'm making it happen, and so should you. There's no reason to stop. There's no reason to stop marketing or lower your marketing budget or do what you're doing. It's a time to only increase it and make your mark more than you did yesterday. And that leads me to your LOS summit, the summit that you guys are doing, and your whole vision. I've seen a lot of your posts lately and a lot of things you're doing, and you're saying, hey, we're taking out all the fluff from these events and we're bringing all the value and all the content. I go to events and seminars all the time. I've participated in them. I help put some together. And what you're saying is always what I've always wished that events would be, because my wife tells me all the time, and she tells me, it's like, another one of those events, to hear the same thing, the same pitch, the same exact thing all the time. And I tell her, well, you know what, you're right. But if there's one or two pieces of information that I gain from that event or one relationship that I gain, then it made it all worth it. And I know I'm going to make a ton of money with it, or I'm going to be able to help a ton of people with that. And it's even more different when the CEO of the event, technically putting on the event, is saying, we're taking out all the fluff. We're not being sold anything. We're going to give you all the value.
All producers on stage.
All the content of people that are actually making it happen, and the companies and people that are helping making them happen, in order for you to take valuable actions either at the event or as soon as you leave.
No, at the event. It's got to be done at the event.
Exactly.
Everybody who comes to the event has got to leave with a deal. You got to more than pay for your costs of going to this event, right? You got to leave with a transaction. I believe everybody can do that. And that's why at this event, we're actually putting calls to action in every single speech. If you go into a breakout session, expect to actually do something at that session.
You're ready to work.
Cause you to get some action going on, and then give that feedback, right? And you're right though, David, a lot of these things, the meat of these things are usually in the hallways. I find wastes of time going to these conventions anymore and listening to the same people, the same companies that sponsor the event talking about themselves, right? Where we need people who are actually going to put on an event that teaches people how to survive in this type of a market. And this goes back to what I said earlier. It's panic, but it's a controlled panic, right? Do it and do it now. Now, we've been focusing on purchases for a long time. So NEXA is in an outstanding position. We are very happy about the position we're in, but we have a lot of loan officers that are down as well, and they need to pick up their business because they're being sniped by all the loan officers in the refinance world that don't understand purchase. So we have a very purchase focused conference going on. How to get business now, but how to get a deal before you leave this conference. As long as you take those actionable items, don't give yourself no excuses. Do something.
You're putting people to work at the event, is what.
At the event. That's exactly.
Like, hey, come ready to put in work, to make things happen, and to push for it. I only have one issue, Mr. Kortas. I have one issue with your event, and it's something with the psyche. And the issue is that you made it free, and sometimes when people don't understand or really know what's really going to happen and how you're putting it together to give them value, they take that for granted. So the next one, charge $5,000 a ticket, please.
Well, it's only kind of free. You got to get there. You got to fly there. You got to pay for your rooms and everything to be there. You got to take the time to be there. I get it. But it's also a company conference, right? These things started out as NEXA Fest, and we changed it to LO Summit this year because we want to help the entire industry through our loanofficersupport.com platform. And that's why we called it that. But I'm never going to charge a Nexan to come to our event, is what it really comes down to. And so I'm going to do the right thing. And I'm at this stage of the game. I understand that there are loan officers out there who need help, and we're going to help everybody. And realtors are encouraged to come. We have a bunch of realtors in the local market making their way out as well.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. At the end of the day, if you're learning the tools and techniques that loan officers are going to be implementing, you can either implement them in your own business or connect with a ton of loan officers that are going to be more than willing to help you implement all these different things that they're going to be learning. Real quick, one of the things that I've seen a lot, I've asked a lot, I've heard a lot is what's really the difference with working with a company like NEXA or working with a direct lender, broker? Like, can you explain a little bit of how that works? Because I know that you guys have a ton of leverage and power with a few companies, and you're able to do a lot of things that sometimes other people are not able to do, whether it's rate or exceptions or whatever it may be. Maybe you can give us a little more insight specifically on that.
Well, it's part of my passion within the industry, right? Teaching realtors and consumers and those loan officers that are at retail companies that don't actually broker. If they're not focused around the brokering product, then they're not giving the consumer the best options that are out there and available. A mortgage broker like NEXA Mortgage, a pure mortgage broker, right? Anybody, these other companies out there, these retail companies, they all hide rate in the margin. If it's not disclosed on the closing statement exactly how much money the broker made, then you know the lending company that you're working with is hiding money and hiding margin, and that affects the consumer. Another problem with those very same lenders is they only have one company to work with. A loan officer at NEXA Mortgage, we have over 188, 189 lenders to work with. We have more lenders than anybody in the entire country, and that's going to do a couple of things for our brokers. One, it gives them access to better rate sheets than anybody because all of these lenders have to compete with each other. If I worked for a retail mortgage company, then I only work for that one company. There's no competition. That company's not competing with everybody. They're just hearing me complain because my rates are high, right? Whereas at NEXA Mortgage, we just take our loan somewhere else. We don't have to complain. We're going to complain with our business, and we're going to go somewhere else with that business. So your consumers get the lowest rates every single time when they work with a mortgage broker. Every single time it's going to be a lower rate. Then you have the power of somebody like NEXA, the largest broker in the country, who obviously has the cheapest rates in the business because we have the best rate sheets at every one of these lenders. It's funny because a lot of these very same lenders that realtors are using, they actually give us rates cheaper because we get them at wholesale. Think about it. Everybody says, I want to buy my stuff on wholesale. You want to buy your mortgage on retail rates, or do you want to buy them on wholesale rates? Right? It's just like buying your anything. Everybody likes wholesale.
Yeah, I go to the car dealership and say, hey, where's the
give me your internet price, right? That's what you get here. But I believe the more important thing about working with the mortgage brokers, David, is what we talked about a minute ago. It's all the extra products. There's not a single loan officer in the country that has more access to more products than a loan officer at NEXA. And that's because we're a broker. We have 190-ish lenders that we currently actively work with, which means if one lender says no, this lender says yes, this lender doesn't have the product, this one does, right? The retail lender that has it, I have it because they have it on the wholesale, right? So we have all the products, and I already know which lenders don't like this little condition, but the other lender does. Every lender has an overlay. They say they don't, but they do. But when you work with a mortgage broker, you're not going to have to deal with that. You know that your customer is going to get said yes to a lot more often, or you don't have to worry about finding another person because that mortgage broker has access to those products.
Mike, I'm going to tell you one of the last things, so I can let you go. I know you're super busy, but one of the things that I love the most, and I'm not trying to give you any special perks or tickle your, you know what they say at this point, but one of the things that I loved about all the NEXA lenders I've run into and talked to and worked with here recently has been that they're the only lenders that I found, the only company I found that really pushes the lenders to really support the real estate agent the most.
Yes.
It's kind of like that's their main focus, is all support, help. How can I help you? How can I bring value to you? That's what I hear from everybody. I don't know if it's a script you guys give them or what you do with these people, but it's all about how can I support you? What can I do for you? And I'm like,
it's the culture, man. So look, NEXA has a culture of abundance. We all know that we can all help each other. We can all help out. And that goes outwards from our loan officers out into the real estate community. But look, we're putting out a new platform here in the near future also. It's not ready yet. I'll give you a teaser though. MortgageSupport.com is actually a platform for real estate agents to go and get mortgage help when they don't think they're getting the help that they need. When they want what they think a customer should be able to get a home, you're going to have access to talk to live video brokers live all day long. Button and get help at any time. We're going to roll that out in about 30 days from now. We're excited about it because we believe the realtor community deserves to really know what's out there in the broker community.
Changing the game completely, Mike. Really appreciate your time. I know I'm going to be at the LOS Summit because I want to shake your hand. I want to shake all the other NEXA guys' hands because they're doing a great job. I see it. I feel it. And it excites me. It excites me for you guys. Thank you so much for all of the insight. I know that it's a tough time for a lot of real estate agents and loan officers. I kind of feel it like it was like the beginning of COVID where everybody was confused and do I stay home? Do I lock myself up? Like, what do I do? And I felt that this change in the market was kind of doing that. So I said, hey, who better than the top largest mortgage guy in the country right now that is still hiding behind the curtains somewhat because he hasn't come out to say, hey, okay, I'm the largest guy. I'm Mike. You're still being very humble and modest, and we appreciate your time. I think Roberto partner is going to be at LOS Summit as well. We look forward to seeing what we can do to provide as much value as possible. And
I'm going to use that analogy. You're absolutely right. By the way, this is like when COVID happened. Everybody's not exactly sure what to do. Right. But we got to get into that controlled panic mode. Controlled panic is what you've got to do. You've got to have a fire under your butt, like something is, you've got to do something, but it's got to be controlled nonetheless. So
for sure. Appreciate you, Mike. Roberto, you have any last things you want to ask Mike before he doesn't give us any more time because he's gonna be super busy planning the summit?
No, I mean, again, Mike, really appreciate you showing up today to the Real Closers. We're always live here. I know we're gonna want you back in a few weeks. You know, another update. So we'll keep in touch, and we'll do that.
Mike, real quick. So it's okay for real estate agents. I didn't really know if that was good. So you guys are also inviting real estate agents, and so we can invite our community to.
100%. We're inviting real estate agents out. We have some great speakers for them. We have some great social media content directed at training agents how to do social media. And then we got Eric Thomas and Les Brown out there as well to really help get some people motivated and off the couch.
Maybe Real Closers will do a little happy hour and invite all the Real Closers over and buy them drinks for an hour or something. We'll do something like that. Okay.
There's going to be a lot of happy hours going on too. So let's do that.
For sure. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.